What about Sister Samaya? How did you find it with you talked to me about how you struggled with the family. What about with the friends?
When I was in my first, it was at K State again. I used to work at Sears, and I used to work on a job on K State. So they both witnessed me coming from one day, like, normal in their sense, and then all of a sudden fully covered. Um, so the online or the on-campus job, I remember my employer was like, what are you doing? And I just happened to have a white hijab on at that day. And mind you, I didn't wear it like this. I kind of did the converting hijab where you kind of just pulled it in the back and put it in the bun, right? It wasn't the full hijab yet. I'm still taking steps at that time. And I said, well, I became Muslim. And she's like, oh, so you're Betty X now, Malcolm X's wife. I kind of laughed along with it because I didn't know at that time how to deal with it. So I'm like, I can handle Betty X. Then it got to extreme. Betty X is coming. Betty X is coming. And I'm like, whoa, now it's not, I didn't know how to deal with that. So I was kind of like, okay, I still wouldn't want to say something because, what I wanted to say would be brilliant, something Islamic. So I'm all like, stop, it was really cheesy. So, um, so the job on Sears, it wasn't too bad. They actually really, really respected the fact that I was, covering, but I think it helped when I was working in the office. I wasn't really on the floor yet. So, but they seemed really, really happy. Now the friends, now, sometimes you kind of lose friends when you become Muslim. So like a lot of the people thought where I was just kind of joking around, I wasn't too serious, and then when they see that you're actually being Muslim, unless they're kind of religious themselves, you kind of lose a lot of them. Like I lost a lot of high school friends during that time. Like if you jump on Facebook, I don't have that many high school friends on there as I do a lot of Muslims. The ones I do have, you can see the religious side on them too. So I never had anybody call me bad names in my social group, my friends and family, other than Betty X. The harsher names I've always gotten from other people that didn't understand. You have like raghead or something like that, or excuse me, sand nigger. I didn't understand that one. Or there, go back to your country, which is funny because I am a U.S. citizen, But in general, like, the harshness from families were more of the, how could you do this to me type thing. But the friends, like I said, they were kind of like, okay, either you were on the bandwagon with me or not. So in general, it wasn't too bad. I remember going to the hospital. I had to bring my daughter to the ER room. She was sick, and it happened to be Halloween, and I just happened to be wearing a black jilbab at that time. So, of course, you get the comments, and, the guy was really, really sweet. He was like, so what are you dressed up as, a ninja? And, okay, now, let's put yourself in my mind. I brought my daughter to the ER room because I thought something was going on, right? So you're kind of serious thinking that your daughter's in the ER room. He's like, are you dressed up as a ninja? And, while we're on our way to the x-rays, right? So we're kind of walking. He's like, are you dressed up? And I'm like, dude, do I look like a ninja? So I told him very nicely, I'm actually a Muslim. So he's like, oh, you dressed up as a Muslim. I'm like, so I told him, no, I'm actually a Muslim. And you can see them there. I mean, he started flushing in his face, and he was like, oh, my God. So he left me with the ER, and he goes back into his nurse's station. So on the way back, I can hear him say, well, like, it's so crazy because and she said she's a Muslim. And so the looks, like he's facing me. It was like the classic scenario where I can see his friends looking at me, and he's all like, and so he turns around. He was like, sorry, So I mean, like I said, again, I'm bringing my daughter to ER room, so I'm like, wish I was a Muslim or a ninja right now, But I was cool and calm and went back to my room. So I mean, I hope that kind of answered your question.
Well, it did. So, Denise, Have you heard about Sisters Magazine?
I just heard about it. I saw it on Facebook, and it was given to me as one of the. I think Sister Sumaya had liked it first, so it showed up in mine, and I just that was the first time I had heard of it. So yeah.
All right. What about Sister Sumaya? How did you hear about Sisters Magazine?
Okay, and now I remember I actually came across now that I saw this here because I couldn't remember when I liked you guys on Facebook. I think the reason why I got it because I think a while back I had another sister who had the magazine, and so I remember reading it. This is a while back. So and I actually liked it because it wasn't a magazine that was like okay, don't get offended, but it wasn't like super religious. It was something I could relate to, It was like picking up an Oprah magazine, but it was like Muslims there. So I really liked that because, unfortunately, we are Muslim 24 hours, a day, 7 days a week. But I do like to read things that are, great at that time. So I remember reading this magazine a long time ago because now I feel bad because when the brother was asking me have I read it, I'm like, oh, I don't know. But now I remember there was an issue that we had at the masjid, so I did get that. So, which is why I liked the page in the beginning. So this is how I came across it.
Amazing. Great. So you said you can relate to to the magazine, like some of the stories.
Yeah, because they portraying to me they're real. They're sisters talking. You have to understand, when you're Muslim, you don't hear much of women. Let's be honest. I mean, and successful women or women's lifestyles and stories, we kind of get buried in whatever is going on in the media or whatever is going on at the mesh. You don't get to see that. And I always thought I was a strong woman here who didn't need a man and stuff like that. And actually Islam kind of changed that to realize it's okay to be a woman. It's okay to be fashionable. We could dress up. We could get the jobs. We could match our hijabs with our purses, with our shoes, which by the way I do. And it's okay to be a woman in today's world. And it's okay to be a Muslim woman in today's world. So, and I like that. Like I said, when you become Muslim, people who before Islam who becomes Muslim think that you have to change everything for Islam. There is things that you do change, but your character, your personality should still the same. So I do like looking at fashion. I do like I said, you get the whole Oprah magazine vibe in it. You get to read stories. You get to see the fashions. You get to be like, okay, good for us women, because really, again, we are kind of sometimes hidden in the background. We're there, but we don't get a voice. And any kind of small voice you want to support. So, Sisters Magazine was a wonderful opportunity to do it. So, yeah, I think that's what I'm talking about relating. You get to bring something that is still fun and entertaining to read. You don't have to, because nobody sits and reads Quran 24 hours a day. You do got life, and sometimes you do want a guilty pleasure, and it's something like that. We all want to sit down and just take a break from life and just enjoy reading. So this is what I'm talking about relating.
Fantastic. And I can see, Denise, you've got a really cool scarf, hijab style.
I was at first, when I first converted, I was like looking at all the YouTube videos. I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta figure out how to wrap this thing. All the YouTubers. I think my first one was Amina Kin from Pearl Daisy. She's my favorite, and I just it was. But now I think I've calmed down a little bit. Like, I have no problem going outside, just like throwing on a black hijab and my anything, and I'm not too much into fashion. I just dressed up for you, so.
Oh.
But yeah. Having 4 kids, you can't get into fashion too much, but I do enjoy looking at different things, and watching I still watch the YouTube videos, and I would like say, oh yeah, that was really nice. I don't foresee myself doing that anytime soon, but I like looking, I like looking at it. So